Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Objectively Bad podcast. My name is Dan, and today, as always, I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Chad.
Oh, hello, Dan.
Yes, and for those of you wondering, he is my friend, not just some random stranger that turns up every week for the past year.
He was on a Discord channel, and I just hopped on. He was recording. He's going to do a one-man podcast, actually, and he started recording, and I just hopped on, and I was like, hello. And here we are.
Honestly, that'd be a funny podcast concept, like to make it like a three-man thing, but it's just two guys that know each other. They join some like random like giant Discord server. A furry one, why not? They just join a random call.
Sure.
Whoever hops in is just their co-host for that episode, and just see what happens.
That would be kind of fun. They like, because you can just find Discord servers on the internet.
Yep.
You just get on, you just start recording, and some days you might not even have someone join. But then the instant they hop on, you're like, and we're live. Hello, MXT5. How we doing today? Like a radio host.
That'd be. I wonder how many people would stay for that, or how many people would get scared and run away.
I mean, it's Discord, so I feel like a lot of people would just immediately leave.
I mean, it has to.
I think you'd get
surprise me having my own Discord server. How many people that just like talk with like strangers and shit, which is weird because like back in the day when I used to play Xbox Live, Call of Duty, I met so many strangers and they became my friends. But now I can't do it anymore. I really struggle.
I don't know if I could. I mean, I probably could, but I just don't need to.
Yeah, it's very rare that I can like make friends with the internet nowadays. Like I have two YouTubers I talked to. I spoke to them yesterday for a while, and then I have like my Discord mods who I don't speak to like voice that often, but I consider them friends at this point. But yeah, it's an interesting situation, the online sphere of things.
Yeah, which is funny considering your profession is being online.
Yeah,
but here we are.
No, it does suck. I wish I was better at it because then I could make connections and leech off people. Be great.
Yeah, leeching off people is great.
I agree.
Fuck, I was really hoping that would segue me into something really good, and it just didn't. I was like, this is a really guy. I'm like, who am I talking about leeching off of? I got nothing.
I was thinking of something as well. Didn't the new DeepSeek AI from China leech off ChatGPT to train its model? Or am I getting that wrong?
I have no idea. Sure.
I heard something. I don't know. I'll talk about that for a second because we're struggling with ideas today, as you can tell.
We're in a drought here today, folks.
It's dry as your mother. So DeepSeek AI, new AI company similar to ChatGPT, came out in China recently. Came out being just as good as the most advanced ChatGPT models, but for like a 50th of the cost or something like that.
Oh wow!
Because like I think ChatGPT costs like it costs them like $5 billion for like just to run it, and make it and like train it and all that shit. DeepSeek AI costs about 5.5 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's just as good because I don't know that much about it but from what I heard. The US government paid ChatGPT to not let China use their models because obviously China bad. So China had to go ahead.
China bad, US good, yeah.
Exactly. They had to go ahead and build this own thing by themselves, like build it from the ground up. They ended up making something way more efficient and way better, which is really funny.
Great.
But now, Chad, unfortunately, it's a national security threat. Who would have guessed?
Damn.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, shocker.
The funniest part about it being a national security threat in the US now is that it's open source, so they can literally see that there's like nothing in it that's, taking data or anything.
Yeah.
But they're still probably going to ban it, like they did like they're trying to do with TikTok.
But Dan, if you tried to explain what the words open source means to a dinosaur senator, they wouldn't understand it, and then they'd ask a question that's both irrelevant to open source and also makes no sense in general.
Does open source open my butt cheeks for DeepSeek to come in and clap my cheeks, Mr. Chinaman? I feel like that's close enough.
Yeah, that sounds like something a senator
would say.
An old fart would say.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
I can see it.
that's about all I know about it. I know it was on the App Store. And so many people signed up that they had to like stop registrations because the server was getting overloaded. It looks really clean. They got like a cute little whale as their logo. I like it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but no, it's interesting that seemingly on multiple fronts now, China are just like making things better and cheaper than all of the US, and the US are like shit. It's like the space race all over again with Russia, right?
Yeah.
It's like Russia got Sputnik into the atmosphere first, and the US were like, fuck, we need to get our shit together. And they did.
We gotta get to the moon.
And they did.
What's the moon of a chat-based AI bot?
It's probably probably if someone can figure out how to create consciousness, honestly.
Oh, I feel like that's such a big step above chatbots.
Or like maybe like robotic AI, where like you actually have like robots moving around and doing like jobs and shit.
Yeah.
Because like we're sort of close on both fronts. Like Boston Dynamics does a lot of like really cool robotic stuff, and they have like some pretty advanced models, but they're not integrated with AI, so it's not like they're doing shit on their own accord to like a massive degree yet. First time that happens.
The problem is, it's possible, but I don't think it's worth the money, because it's like, yeah, once you build it, you don't have to pay it because it's not a human, but then it's like, when does it break? How much money does it cost? You know, there's all these questions of like, yeah, sure, you don't have to pay for it, but it cost you $100,000 for one.
I mean, like you could make the same argument about like cars when they first came out.
That's true. Like I'm sure at some point it's possible. It's just right now it's like, why would you do it? I'm sure at some point it's possible for all the people that then go, oh, they're going to steal all our jobs. They'll just create more jobs because we have to fix those robots. I mean, same thing with any piece of technology. You have computers to help you do things, calculate things, you know, do a ton of things. You still need people that make software for computers, fixes computers, designs
well, it will probably get to a point, unless we put a stop to it, where like they'll just be able to fix themselves and it'll just be a self-sustaining system.
That is where the problem comes.
And that's when you get to the point where we're like the guys in Wall-E just on fat chairs floating around because like, we have nothing to do.
Or just like Terminator. Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to kill us all, but.
Or like, you know, Ready Player One, you know, just virtual worlds is all we do at that point. Which, hey, if I can like live out the rest of my days just in a fantasy world, I ain't going to complain, really. I'll do it.
I will, but that's, you know, to each their own.
Yeah. So that's that.
That's that. Okay. Sweet. We're 8 minutes in. We're killing this, Dan.
Yeah, we're doing really good.
I've started reading comic books, like actually reading them, because I feel, which is funny because I think we talk about comic book stuff.
Yep.
We talk about a lot of kind of nerdy things, but I don't think either of us actually read comics. Do you read mangas at all?
A little bit, yeah. I don't not a lot recently. It's almost always romance manga as well. I really struggle with
porn.
No. I really struggle with like reading like action manga because I just like I can't like follow like the fight scenes when it's like not animated. I really struggle to like just follow it.
It's so much better. The fighting is so much better animated. That's fair.
Like there are some like seinen, which is like the Japanese word for like adult manga, not in terms of porn, but in terms of like, you know, dark themes and stuff.
Sure.
That I like to read as well. Not my favorite, but the best manga I've ever read. It's called Yasumi Punpun. It's Good Night Punpun. Very notorious for being insanely dark, depressing, and fucked up. And like so bad to the point where people will warn you and saying like, if you're not in a good headspace, do not read this manga.
Don't do it. Oh,
like,
wow.
It's like that bad. And I read it a couple of years ago when I was on holiday. It's very dark. Yeah.
I hope you were in the right headspace.
Yeah, I was fine. I mean, it's about it's about a guy called Punpun, but him and his whole family are like depicted as like kind of like weird bird creatures. So everyone else is human, but he's like it's like, you know when a kid puts like a sheet over their head and to make themselves look like a ghost, and it's just like a silhouette like that. It looks like that, but with like a beak.
Huh.
That's the best way I can describe it. And he's depicted as that, and it basically follows him from his youth all the way up to his like adult life.
Yeah.
And it basically just shows like the most fucked up things like in like a lot of people's lives. So like, not to spoil it, but like, you know, like his dad's a bit abusive, his mother and father get divorced. He gets raped by his uncle's girlfriend.
Oh God.
When he's 15. He ends up becoming like a very dark and twisted person because initially he's like a kid with a lot of anxiety and social issues, and he grows up, becomes like really like fucked up. And the thing about the manga that's like scary in a sense is that the older he gets, the more deformed his figure becomes. It's like he's like this cute little bird kid at the start, but by the end he's like this demon creature with 3 eyes on him going upwards with like horns sticking out and all dark and black.
Now, do you think in this world that is literal or more figurative?
It's figurative.
Okay, it's all metaphorical. Okay. Yeah.
Because at one point towards the end of the book, you do actually see what he looks like as a person in like a mirror reflection.
Oh, okay.
It's just figurative of like how he sees himself, but it's like it's really really well written. The art is like very like disconcerting. It's very beautiful, like well done. But like that shit, it fucked.
I'll get you.
Yeah.
Huh.
I like those stories. They're good.
Yeah. I've taken to reading some comic books, A, because I just want to, and B, like, honest to God, the more I'm on social media, the more I sit here and go, God, this sucks. It's all just content that like gets your attention at the very beginning and then goes on for like 2 minutes about nothing because all they need to do is get watch hours. Speaking of which, watch our entire videos. They're really good. You should watch them.
Yes.
Just shameless plugging. But you know, it's just a lot of stuff that like there's quality there every once in a while, but there's a lot of things where I'm just sitting here going, this sucks. It's clickbaity. It's almost just to make money, which like I get, you gotta make money, do what you gotta do. But the more I'm on it, the more I'm like, this isn't for me. So I've started reading comic books on my phone, and then I have an old iPad that I've been reading them on. Yeah,
I bought a fucking tablet to read manga.
Nice.
So I get you.
Nice. I guess it's not my iPad. It is an iPad mini that my girlfriend won in high school, so quite a bit ago. She won it at like prom.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know you could win shit at prom, but our prom was weird. But that's besides
our prom. I was
German.
keeping score of a football game between Man United and Wolves, which we drew like 1-1, and I was depressed the whole night.
There's a game going on?
Yep.
Huh. That feels late at night.
It was.
I guess it's probably an 8 o'clock game. I'm used to watching soccer in the States where like the latest a game is on is at like 1. Because, you know, it's night in England and 1 o'clock for me.
Yep. No,
you're just fucked.
Games for me run between like, at the very earliest, I maybe, if I'm fucking lucky, will get like a 9 p.m. game. And then it can anywhere between like that and like 7 a.m. But usually they're like between midnight and 3.
Yeah.
Which sucks ass.
But anyways, I've started reading comics, and the cool thing is I'm not paying for them. And I'm not doing it illegally, which is even better.
Nice.
I'm just using my local library. They have some like
cool.
You can borrow stuff. They also have a service called Hoopla where you get like a certain amount of downloads per month. Which is pretty cool. So it's definitely interesting how they section off, like how they do comic books, because if you downloaded one singular comic book, you'd go through 4 in like a couple days.
Yep.
Because individual comic books tend to be small, but there's like issues. So let's see, what have I read so far? So I read Old Man Logan.
Nice.
Which is really good. It's a lot quicker than I kind of thought it was going to be. Like I at one point, like years ago, I watched a YouTube synopsis on like the story. And then I'm watching this and I'm reading through it. I'm like, oh, it doesn't skip anything. Like it's just not terribly long. But it's issues like, I'm trying to remember which, it's like 68 to 72 of like a Wolverine run that goes for like 200 issues or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
And then I've started reading Batman Under the Red Hood because I love the animated movie and I kind of want to see what the comic is like. it's different. It's like same and different at the same time. Like it's not like shot for shot. Like there's some slightly different villains and slightly different things happen, but like otherwise story wise, it's all the same. And for whatever reason, and I think it's because I've been playing Marvel Rivals, I've started reading Moon Knight. It's also because have you seen any like of the panels where it's Moon Knight just being crazy?
The one I keep seeing is when She-Hulk walks in the room. He's like, "Oh fuck, a lawyer."
There's that. There's one that's just like random bullshit go, and he just like throws stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that.
There's the other one that's like, "What's up, Dracula? You big fucking nerd. Where's my money?" A lot of those are fake, and I'm really sad about it.
Still
looked
funny.
It up on Reddit because I was like, I'm pretty sure these are fake. The other thing you note is they almost never curse in comic books, from what I've seen at least.
Yep.
But they'll put in curse words, but they'll always be bleeped.
Yep.
So if you ever, I think for the most part, I could be wrong because I'm newer to reading these, but like if you see a picture of a panel and it has an actual curse word in it, it's probably fake.
Good point.
It's probably edited. Like it's probably like the panel exists somewhere, but they just changed the text.
Oh, I mean, like the amount of edited anime, like manga panels I see on Reddit, and like think are real and are not. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because they look really good. They nail the like text style, like the font style. But it's interesting. I'm reading like the original Moon Knight because it starts with this werewolf. He fights a werewolf at one point. It's fine. He's like a mercenary. And then I'm reading, and the fucking villain is so stupid. This first villain he fights, his name is Lord Conqueror.
Based.
And he's just like he's just like a mob boss. Like he's like, I'm Lord Conqueror, and he's like, I'm gonna take over New York City. His goal is to get a different mayor that is essentially under his control so that he can just run crime and not get arrested for it.
So it's just Kingpin.
Yeah, but worse.
Yeah, okay.
It's so fucking stupid. It's really funny though. It's also Moon Knight can't fly, but he has a French guy in a helicopter that just follows him around, and he's like, I need to get out of here, and he just like lowers a ladder and he just flies away. And all the text is great because they're trying to like emanate him being French. There's a lot of wheeze. Yep. There's a lot of like, get to the chopper. Like the way it's spelled is really funny.
Of course.
The guy's name is Frenchie. That's the only like name they've given him so far.
Oh, so he's just from The Boys.
That's what I thought at first. He's just a French guy in a helicopter.
Good fun.
This is also before, because I think in newer Moon Knights, he's like the avatar of like a god or something like that. And in this, he's just a guy, but maybe has more powers from the moon. Like at one point, there's a panel where he's like, it's only a quarter moon tonight, so I only have a quarter extra strength, and it's like, okay.
Doesn't he have like bipolar syndrome or something?
Yeah, in this one, it's not that he's bipolar, but he just has a bunch of aliases in order to just do different things. Like he has a rich person billionaire alias, which is not himself. It's a different guy. But also like he had to have gotten that money from somewhere. Yeah. Although I think they explain it because they're like, he gets the money from because he used to be like a mercenary for hire. And then he's just made good stock investments. And so he has a lot of money, and now he's a mercenary for free. Or not a mercenary, but like a vigilante.
Yeah, does it for the love of the game, no other reason.
Does it for the love of the game.
I mean, I respect it. I mean, like, I always had this question. Like, you always, like, when you're talking with your friends when you're younger, you're like, if you could have any superpower, what would you have? Oh, I want to be Spider-Man. Oh, I want to go invisible so I can go in the girls' locker room. You know, all the normal stuff.
Sure, all the normal little kid children things.
If you actually got, like, say, Spider-Man's powers, would you, like, do you think you would generally have it in you to go ahead and be a crime fighter? Or would you just, like, use the powers for, like, fun and just live a normal life.
I feel like I'd do that unless I was rich. Because I feel like it'd be hard to be a crime fighter
And make a living.
and make a living. Well, it's also, we don't live in a world. It's also like, do we live in a world where there's a bunch of supervillains? Because like, if I'm just swinging around, if I have Spider-Man powers and I live in New York and I'm just swinging around, how many crimes am I really stopping?
Yeah, you're being like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man version, just like the crook beating up a guy in an alleyway, maybe someone robbing a store, that type of thing.
But like, how often am I stumbling upon that? Or am I just scouring the city for hours looking for like a crime a night? Which I guess he does that.
I mean, you'd probably try and do the thing that he does in the game where he has like a radio that taps into the police network.
Sure.
You try and figure that out, or try and like get a friend in the police force and try and do that shit if you really cared about it. Or the other option is if you have powers that like make you like really strong, like say you have like Captain America level powers, you just join the military and just like go to town.
Yeah. Or just like you just help people out in need in like random ways. They're like, help, like you almost set like an app, like a hotline where you're like, these are kind of my abilities. Hit me up if there's something where you're like, I can't do this. Like maybe you're like a baker and you need to have like a really big stand mixer, but you don't have you have the money to buy one, but you like can't transport it. And it's like, I'm really strong. I could just pick this up for you.
Yeah. You
just replace a forklift driver.
Or if you're super speedy, you're just a delivery man.
Yeah. You'd make bank doing that. Although, here's the real question. Would that food get entirely fucked up with you running super fast?
You'd have to be very careful about how you hold it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like a fried rice that's packed in like a container, that's chilling.
Then it's fine.
If it's like a pizza.
But like a pizza?
Yeah, there's...
It's probably gonna like hit the box, fall apart.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta say, my biggest pet peeve, and it's been happening less often because I came up with a strategy, right? So, Burger King, as you know it, Hungry Jack's in Australia. I enjoy the odd burger now and again.
Sure.
But for genuinely about 4 years, maybe about 5 years, fuck it, the whole time I've been in Melbourne, whenever I ordered Hungry Jack's, the drink would always leak. Like, sometimes a little bit, sometimes to the point where the bag's dripping, like, all over while I'm walking up to my apartment. It's because Hungry Jack's in Australia has this, like, drink top on it that they don't use straws. It's basically like, it's still a plastic top, but it has like a lid, like it's a can.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually like those. I actually think they're pretty good. It means you don't need to use a straw. It means you don't have to use a paper straw because they suck ass.
Yeah. Paper straws suck.
But for some
They're
reason...
good for the environment or whatever, but God, they suck.
Yeah. I actually bought like 200 plastic straws a couple of years ago. I just have them. Don't worry about that. Nice. It's fine. But yeah, so I actually like the lids they have on them, but they leak way easier for whatever reason. So like my biggest fear is like whenever I order from Hungry Jack's, if the guy bringing it to me is like a bicycle rider, I'm like, fuck, he's gonna fuck my shit up every time. Every single time I order an Uber and it's a guy on a bike, not a motorbike, just
a bike,
a pedal one. I'm like, they are going to fuck up my shit. I know it. I get pains in my chest. I start sweating. I start clenching my ass in anticipation.
You're foaming out of the mouth.
Yeah. No, like I hate it because like when you're on a bike, you're going like that, and like the whole fucking bag in the back swinging back and forth.
Yeah.
All I want when I get a delivery driver is just like scooter or car. Like motorbike as well, fine, sure, but like scooter or car. Give me that. Scooter's easier for me because of where I live. They don't have to park in a weird location, but
yeah,
just give me something that's stable and you're gonna get it to me securely and on time, please, for the love of God.
That's all you ask. You said you had a strategy.
So yes, the strategy hasn't happened since I started applying the strategy. Applying. That's the word. And the strategy is that. So what I figured it out that when I order a drink, so my meals is like a drink and burger, chips, nuggets, typical.
Yeah.
When I ordered that, the drink would go in a cup holder, like cardboard cutout thing, where it has two cup holders. The drink's in one, and the other one's just empty because I don't have another drink.
Yeah.
And I always felt like, it's probably lopsided. That's why it's like falling over all the time. So every single time I order from Hungry Jack's
two drinks, don't you?
No, I get an ice cream. I get a McFlurry.
There you go.
The Cyclone equivalent, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Which means that every single time I order from Hungry Jack's now, It's now like $6 more expensive. And I feel shit afterwards because I'm slightly lactose intolerant. But
Oh yeah.
but it doesn't spill. So
Hey, there you go.
we won.
There
That's
you
all
go.
I'm saying.
I see that. I don't order delivery a whole lot, or really, honestly, rarely. Out of two things, I'm a cheap bastard and I can spend less money
Yep.
just picking it up myself. I'm also impatient, and delivery just takes longer. I also have a car.
Then
so
what?
like,
Going to get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't. Well, I do have that option for some places, I guess. But even still,
You have the
walking
option for some places, but if
takes
you don't
longer.
live near it, then it's like it does take longer. It's that like I also work at a restaurant that does delivery, so I kind of know how it works. Let's say food takes 20 minutes to cook. If you do pickup, you get there 20 minutes after you call, it's ready typically.
Yeah.
But delivery can often vary because you have to have a delivery driver available. That could be the instant your food's done. That could be 20 minutes after your food's done. Could be 40 minutes after your food's done, depending on.
Okay, you
the
live in a very
service.
different situation to me. I'm in like a city. I always have drivers.
Well, it's also like there's DoorDash.
That's what I'm not
and, like,
ordering
Uber
from
Eats.
individual restaurants. I'm ordering from like
Well, yeah,
Uber Eats,
yeah.
which means there's more people. Like I have restaurants that will get my food there in 12 minutes.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, yeah, when you live in a city. I wouldn't say I live in a city.
Yeah,
I live in the suburbs near a city, but
so it takes a bit longer. Yeah, also like
it takes a bit
with the
longer.
patience thing for me, I'll like order it while I'm like working on something or while I'm watching an
Yeah.
episode, and I'll get there. I'll just have to wait a bit for it. It works out. Like for me,
no, it does work out.
compared to like between that and cooking, which can take me like an hour if I'm being really pathetic that day,
Sure.
not worth. Or worth.
That's fair. I also I don't eat out as much as I used to.
I probably shouldn't eat out as much. It's just a convenience thing, really. And
Sure.
I crave the goods.
I enjoy cooking, and that has worked out very well for me because it both saves me money and probably my health.
Yeah, that cooking is still the one thing I just can't really get behind. Like
I gotta
cook.
have you over and teach you the hacks.
Yeah, it's not that I don't know how to do it. I just hate the process.
Sure.
I think like standing there for like half an hour just waiting. Like I will say I have found like hacks to like make the one meal I do cook somewhat regular a lot easier. So it's just chicken, rice, and broccoli. So I've just like I just use the air fryer for chicken. Works out well. I put tinfoil down in it so you don't have to clean the air fryer like
Nice.
that much at all. Instead of putting rice in a rice cooker, which I do have, I just have like a 90-second microwave rice.
There you go.
It's maybe a bit worse tasting, but it's done in 90 seconds instead of like fucking 30 minutes. And then in the rice cooker, there's always some left over because the amounts are like always weird.
Yeah, because you never portion like the right amount for yourself.
Exactly. Well, like the pack of rice is like literally perfect. And there's different there's different flavors of it. You can get like jasmine rice, you can get like Mexican rice. So like I can switch it up, which is nice.
Sure.
And then I found out that like I usually have broccoli with it, just easy, and I usually like get the whole fucking thing and chop it up. But I found in my supermarket recently, there's like pre-chopped broccoli packets that you can just buy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I literally have to do like the only work now is like getting the chicken well seasoned, and I'm done. It's great.
There you go. We cook so differently.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I mean, like you've worked as a chef, like a restaurant.
I
chef.
wouldn't call myself a chef. Well, I've
cook.
worked in a restaurant.
As a cook, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. So you're used to the process. It's like almost second nature to you now with a lot of that stuff. I'm still like for me as well, I don't want to make this like a big excuse, but like I am taller, so like bending over the kitchen counter for long periods does hurt my back like a fuck ton. And I don't like that.
It hurts when I cook sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little taller. I'm a little bit too tall for the line. Not by much, but like there is sometimes where I'm just kind of my back is not
if I'm like
straight.
cutting something, I'm like fully hunched over doing it and it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would like to cook more or make it like be a thing I'm like good at or enjoy because it would make me healthier. And it's like a nice like skill to put on my relationship resume. Like, hey girl, I can make you a nice meal.
You gotta have. I feel like you gotta have at least one good meal.
Yeah.
Like in the pocket.
No, I do want to.
It's like, hey, come back to my place. Let's I'll cook you a nice meal, and then you pull out like mac and cheese.
Hey, I wouldn't complain, honestly.
Well, yeah, but you're not the one cooking.
No,
Or you're not the one being
if she
cooked
made it for me, I'd be like, this is
Well,
fire.
sure.
Yeah. I did
Love
see
a good mac and
a
cheese.
post on somewhere a few weeks ago about someone saying like a really good idea. What you could do is learn one new recipe every week for a whole year, and then you have 52 recipes for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Although what I will say is I feel like you got to cook it a couple times to really know the recipe. Because like there's things that I make that I still don't necessarily have down, and I've made it multiple times.
Yeah, so you could do like 3 times a week, but like just like learn
Yeah.
one. You could even make it less, like one a month. That's still 12, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah. And make a list of stuff, because I think what I've struggled with is I'll try a bunch of different recipes where I like them. And then I'm like, all right, what am I making this week? And I just like blank slate. I'm like, I don't know what I've ever cooked in my life.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
But if I write it down, might remember it.
It's a good point.
Maybe.
Yeah. I like to save like recipes and stuff on TikTok. I have like 20 there. I've not made a single one of them.
Nice. It's the thought that counts. It's half the battle.
Yeah. I do cook scrambled eggs like every morning now. So that is good.
There you go.
That's good for the protein
That's
intake.
something. Do you remember in high school we did a thing in like, okay, so we went to like a rich private school high school, even though neither of us are rich. And there like every like the beginning of the year we'd go on like a little grade retreat, which is usually like we went camping somewhere like an hour away.
We went camping at a refugee camp.
We did go camping at a refugee camp. That was fun.
It was a great time. We played frisbee with them. It was awesome.
It was a good time. Yeah, we did. It was a good time. But I remember in 12th grade, instead of having a like retreat, they're like, we're just gonna do stuff at school, and we did like I don't know, like life lessons or some shit.
Yeah, they
like
told
that.
us how to cook, which was making eggs. We did
eggs.
knitting or sewing, like another one as well.
Yeah,
it was weird as hell.
It was so fucking funny though, because I was sitting here like, of course I knew how to make eggs for myself. There were people who were like, what do you do with it? And we're like, what do you mean, what do you do with it? I mean, there's lots of options, but like at the bare minimum, you turn the pan on, throw, oil, butter, whatever, and then you crack it in there, and then you're good. You're done.
Honestly, like, unless you burn the ever-living shit out of it, there's no real wrong way to cook an egg.
Or overcook it.
Yeah, like, as long as it's cooked, like, through. And even then, you can eat egg. I know in America you can't as much, but in a lot of countries you can't eat egg raw, and it's, like, not gonna get you sick. Like I know in Japan you can eat eggs raw. It's like a type of rice. You have white rice and put egg on it. Australia, I think you can eat eggs raw a lot of the time. But, like, yeah, you
might be able to.
If you put eggs in a pan and just cook it enough, even... Like, I fucked it one time. I tried to make fried eggs, but I had the heat on, like, the wrong setting. So it was, like, half fried, and I was like, fuck it, decided to scramble it. It was, like, scrambled fried egg.
And then it's fine.
It's die.
I've definitely done that before, because I've started frying an egg and going, I don't really want to fry this egg, and then I just gotta scramble it.
Just fucking stab at it.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of pieces
Or I'll
now.
go and I'm like, it's that I don't know what it is for me in eggs. I'm so indecisive. I anytime I go to like a breakfast spot, they're like, how do you want your eggs? And I'm like, the first thing that comes to my mind, I just say that.
Yeah,
because I don't care.
I always get like eggs Benedict if I'm at like a breakfast place. Like,
oh, nice.
It's just easy. I think I prefer fried eggs, but I always just make scrambled because like in my mind it's more difficult to fuck up a scrambled egg. Whereas a fried egg, like you can get the heat wrong or like you crack it badly.
True. Yeah. I mean, it'll still taste good, but it's like it won't look as pretty, that's for sure.
Exactly. Like when I flip the fried egg and like the yolk comes out midair and splats over the counter, I'm like, I'm a disappointment to my family.
Great.
I want to end my existence. This is painful.
I've failed my kid.
Whereas like a scrambled egg, like if you fuck up a scrambled egg, that you seriously need assistance.
Yeah, you throw it in. You like the only thing you could do is under or overcook it, but there's such a like a big window of time where you can be done with it. Because
like the way you cook scrambled egg, you have the heat on so low that like it's kind of impossible to overcook or undercook it like massively.
Yeah,
because like
unless you just pulled it out way too soon, but like it's kind of. You could tell when it's done.
Yeah, there's like a whole like cooked. I'd say there's like depending on what heat you have, there's like a whole like 2-minute period where like anytime within that window you can pull it out. It's gonna be fine. It's just gonna be either a bit more runny or a bit more like hard. Like
I'd say it could even be a bigger window, but yeah, like you fuck up egg. But I just remember doing that, and I'm cooking an egg with like one other guy, and we both know what we're doing, and I'm watching these people be like, "How do I do this?" And I'm like, How do you not know this?
yeah, no, it was a bit sad. It's like the people that like
some people just don't learn how to cook.
Yeah, I see a lot of Reddit stories. Like I watch like Smosh, big YouTube channel. They do Reddit stories, but I also just browse myself. And there's so many guys on there that are like, I don't know how to cook at all. And like I think, and like sometimes the excuses are like, I think cooking is a woman's job, which is just another problem
bad excuse
in itself.
There's a lot of problems there that we can't delve into.
But there's a lot of guys that are like there was one specific Reddit story that I was listening to, where the guy's like, his like girlfriend cooks everything for him, like lunch, dinner, breakfast, everything, which is fine if that's your dynamic and you're both happy with it.
Sure. If you both like it and that works and it's equal, whatever. Yeah.
But like she cooked pasta one night and he was like, I don't like this that much, and he was giving her like advice on how to make it better. And then the next day he made a whole ass PowerPoint presentation to roast her cooking about how bad it was and how to improve it.
She does all this work for him. Oh, dude, what an asshole. I'd leave him immediately.
Yeah. Well, she posted about it on Reddit. Well, he had a slide where it's like, this is what Gordon Ramsay thinks about your food. And it was like a gif of Gordon Ramsay going, shit.
Oh my God.
I'm like, this guy's a wank.
Bro, cook for yourself then.
Yeah, that's what everyone in the comments was saying. I'm like, sure, maybe to some degree you have the right to criticize food if you think it tastes bad, whatever. But you don't have such a right to say it if you're not going to try to cook it yourself or try and fix the problem yourself at all.
Yeah. There's also a better way to do that. You could be like, hey, like maybe there's a nice way of doing that where you go, hey, like this didn't necessarily come out as well. Can I give you some advice?
Yeah.
Like, you just need to cook it a little longer. Like, oh, you cooked it too longer. I don't know. It's pasta. I don't really, outside of like the sauce, it's you're boiling a grain. Yeah,
he was saying like it was too al dente or something. I'm like, you don't even cook. You don't know what the fuck al dente is. Shut up.
Yeah.
But no, the story ended well. She ended up making a presentation about why he's a bad boyfriend. She left him. So lovely.
Hell yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, no, it was great.
She won.
But like, there's so many like Reddit stories where guys are like, oh, I refuse to cook or I don't know how to cook. I'm like, no, it's like,
just learn. It's so easy.
And then one of the people on the Smosh Reddit stories, I can't remember who it was, but they made a great comment. And I do agree with this. Even though I don't cook much and I don't like, I have my own issues with it. I do agree with this completely. Cooking is not like, it's not like it's not a skill in terms of like, it's not a skill in the same way like woodworking is a type of skill.
It's not a hobby.
It's not a hobby. It's like a thing you just need to know how to do. It's like cleaning. It's like, you know how to clean, right? It's like, you should know how to cook. I don't
know if some of these guys know how to clean though, is the problem.
Yeah. I mean like, yeah. I mean like, once you reach adulthood, cleaning should be the same level of skill as like showering. It's like, you should know how to shower. Maybe some people know how to wash themselves better or like use, better things for their hair and scalp. But like with cooking, you don't need to be a five-star restaurant. You should be able to feed yourself to a level. If that level is you know how to cook toast and eggs and you eat microwave like ready-made meals for dinner, fine. That's good enough.
Not great, but like it's better than nothing.
Yeah. There are some people like, I don't know how to do
some
toast.
Basic cooking. Oh God. There's literally a device for it. Yeah. That does everything for you.
It's quite funny. No. Speaking of Reddit stories though, I was looking through it last night and I found an account that was just quite funny. And I found one post from them that I would like to read out to you, Chad. As an American citizen,
I am one of those.
I just found this post quite hilarious. Now I will mention, so the post I found this person by was on r/self, which is just like a self Reddit talking about like your own opinions and stuff.
Okay.
And
interesting.
We don't need to talk about this, but it was just funny. I'll read some of the comments. But the title is, there can only be 4 sexualities. You're either gay, lesbian, straight, or bisexual, and then some text explaining their thoughts on that. And the comments are just funny because they're just like, really, on Reddit, you're making this post? I'm gonna get my popcorn and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is, like, the OP, the original poster, is like fighting in the comments for their life, which is really funny. And this specific comment, like, I don't think they get the point, because they got negative 17 downvotes on their reply. But a person commented, "What? Have you never heard of asexuality? People exist who aren't attracted to men or women. The forgotten fifth sexuality in this case." And someone said the fifth forgotten element. But then this person responded that sexually, they're still gay or straight. They're still married. I don't know
what.
I don't know where.
No, I completely missed the point there.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, so this person's asexual. They don't like any sex. They go, no, but they're still like married and still have like a wife. And it's like, first of all, no one said anything about like a marriage.
No one brought that up. But then it continues. Someone responded, they are literally not gay or straight. They are asexual while also being married to someone. This is like saying an atheist believes in a god. It goes against the very base definition of what a in atheist means. Fair. This person responded, getting married isn't a walk in a park. You only marry someone you like. So it's safe to assume whoever they marry, they must either be gay, straight, or bi. Which is such a dumb argument. It's so stupid. First of all, people don't always marry someone they like. So you can feel trapped. You can feel
that's so true.
Obligated. There's arranged marriages. So that's one thing. But like, I still don't know why marriage matters in this conversation.
I also like that this person immediately was like, every single person is one of these four. And they go, what about asexual people? And they go, but they're married to someone. What if they're not? There's a lot of people that are not in relationships. Like that's kind of a strange, that's a jump for sure.
And the rabbit hole keeps going deeper because this person responded again, not the original post or someone else. So difficulty means they are gay or straight and can't be asexual. Or are you saying marriage is only worth it if you have sex? I'm lost on what this has to do with the meaning of being asexual. OP responds, marriage is only worth it if you are attracted to the opposite sex. Because if you are not, then it's just a best friend, you know? Like, why would you marry someone but just not have sex? I think sex is a huge component of marriage.
Okay. First of all, he contradicts himself again by saying the opposite sex, because then he just discounts the fact that this person validated, gay, bi. I also feel like he said straight, gay, lesbian, and bi. Was that it?
Yeah, it's also a woman, by the way. So I don't know if that helps at all.
It doesn't mean anything.
So I'll shorten these next few comments because it just gets stupid. Okay. So another person responds, so attraction only means sexual. Then original poster responds, yes, attraction only means sexual. That's the whole point of attraction. It's to have sex. When my boyfriend sees me and his dick gets hard, it means he's attracted to me. The rest of the points you made make zero sense.
This person doesn't understand that some people, for sex is more and less important for different people. And going back to asexual, it's not interesting to them.
Yeah. And also, this person says, when my boyfriend sees me and his dick gets hard, it means he's attracted to me. Does that mean when my dick gets hard, looking at the couch, because it just happens sometimes? Am I attracted to the couch? It's not the.
If you're JD Vance, you are.
It's not the greatest argument. It's just a very funny comment. But then I saw someone respond to this post saying, you've posted a lot in the last 2 days, and the OP responded, is that not allowed? So I was like, oh, what have they been posting? What's happening on this Reddit account?
Did you find more?
So I found there's like a bunch of weird things they posted. It's a very weird account. So like there's one on the subreddit called Am I Overreacting? And it says, am I overreacting because my boyfriend sings romantic songs with his friend who's a girl? So just...
Okay.
I'm not going to go into it, but there's just that. Okay. There's a few other things. They posted just no text, just the title in r/self. Get your karma up and then go to war.
What? I don't know what that even means. Like karma, like KARMA?
Yeah, it's like the point system in Reddit you get for like posting and replying.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah.
And then go to war. Okay.
I don't know. Then she posted, why are people on Reddit so snarky? Which is very ironic.
Yeah.
And then about 20 minutes before that last sexuality post, they posted another one saying, realistically, we should only have 3 sexes and 4 genders. So they really are going hard on this.
It's interesting to me that you get someone who's like, because you get a lot of people who are like, there's only men and women, they're only straight people, everyone else is bad. It's interesting to me that this person's like, no, like there's multiple genders, but there's only this amount of them. Like,
yeah, like they accept gay, straight, lesbian, bi, but then like nothing else.
Nothing else, which is like, why? And I mean, are those going to be the majority? Sure. But like, there's a ton of others that you could maybe argue fall into another one, or are completely different, or like maybe subsections.
Yeah, like there was a comment,
but
there was a comment for on that post, which I do agree with more. Is that they did basically mention that I do agree that straight, gay, both lesbian and gay combined, and bi and asexual are the main 4, and then everything else is kind of like a subsection of those, which is probably a bit more.
You could probably make an argument for it. I'm sure you could find some random one that somehow doesn't fit in there, but to some degree, yes. I think you could also switch bi with pansexual, which is almost essentially the same thing. I almost would say it's the updated version of bisexual.
I think
because I feel like
isn't bi you're attracted to both, and pan you're attracted to both, but only one at one time. Like you switch back and forth.
No. So bisexual just means you're attracted to both men and women. Pansexual just means you're attracted to anyone.
Right.
I feel like pansexual is essentially open up and go. It has opened it up where there's been a lot more exploration into other genders, where instead
like
of going
trans people
bi
and stuff as well,
like trans, and there's probably a bunch of others that I'm not aware of, and have I think pan just opens up to like, I just like people, and if I like them for their person, then I am attracted to them. Like the sex or gender doesn't necessarily specify what I'm into, but I think there's a decent amount of people that can use bi and pan.
Yep.
Kind of back and forth, just because to some degree they're basically the same thing. They're not necessarily exactly the same thing, but
as long as people aren't just being over the top weird about it, I honestly I couldn't care less about someone else's sexuality.
As long as you're not forcing something down my throat, live your life how you want to.
Literally. Enough about the sexuality talk. Here's another post by this person. Words don't suddenly become offensive when people decide they are. Like the word retard. People call it the R slur and make such a big deal out of it, especially these young teens on Twitter. For context, this person is 21. Which is really funny.
Okay.
Calling young teens on Twitter. They get so offended by it. The N word and the F slur are actually offensive. Let's not pretend that the R word is on the same level as those slurs. You've got some growing up to do and develop some thick skin. And then the first comment...
There's good reasons why we don't say it anymore.
Yeah, the first comment...
Because it's offensive to a group of people.
Yeah, the first comment is exactly the best way to say it. No, that's absolutely not how words work. How do you think the meaning of literally every single word has been decided upon? It's group opinion. There are some words
we give them a meaning.
We give them a meaning, and sometimes, like, for all we know, I doubt it will happen, but for all we know, the N-word might become acceptable in 100 years, and people just stop saying it again. It's
the
just
definition could change.
It's just about what the overall zeitgeist is around something. Like,
well, it's like the word gay used to also mean happy.
Yeah.
And people would use that like, oh, we're having a gay and merry time. And like nowadays it doesn't. And that's fine. But words can change. Now, a word that is mostly and very much deeply rooted in racism, sexism, whatever, probably has a lower likelihood of having a different meaning. But you're right, in 500 years, the N-word could just be something completely different. And it's because as a humanity, it's been decided on being different.
Yeah, just like how in Australia, saying cunt isn't really that bad of a thing. Like, it's normal. Like, we still consider it a swear word, sure, and I still get demonetized on YouTube when I say it because the Americans think it's bad. But it's like, it's a very common thing, and like people don't even think about it.
It's not as harsh as it is here.
Yeah, exactly. That was just another funny thing. But now I'm getting towards the bottom of their post now, and like all these posts were on like the same day, by the way, which is just funny. I think they're having a psychotic episode or something.
Sure.
But I came to the very there's just some really funny ones. It's like they have a lot of posts where there's no actual content. It's just the title and nothing else. It's like you don't face your fears, you ride them. My palace is wherever my boyfriend is. There's just a bunch of really funny ones. But the post I wanted to talk about the most, because, you know, again, you are an American citizen.
I am an American citizen. I forgot that was the segue getting us into here.
The landscape around that country has been interesting recently, and this post is just very, very funny. The post and the comments are very, very funny. So, title, People Hate on America, but honestly, I wouldn't be anywhere else. Are you ready?
Oh, okay. Do you want my thoughts first, or
I mean,
should we just jump right into it?
If you want.
I mean, I get it, because like if you grow up somewhere, it makes, and you've only lived your entire life in some place, it makes sense that you'd want to stay. I don't know. I'm curious to where this goes, because you could argue either way, because like you could say the same thing about any country where you're like, look, it is what it is, but like this is where I'm from, this is where I want to live. Or it could just be nationalism. There's a wide spectrum of where this could go. And Dan, I'm curious to where it goes.
Well, let's jump right into it. So, people hate on America, but honestly, I wouldn't be anywhere else. We by no measure are the best, and keep that line in mind because it...
okay, yeah. We're going to keep it right in the dome.
We're leading in categories which we shouldn't be proud of. And then there's a paragraph change after the word of, and then it goes into but. So this person doesn't understand grammar whatsoever. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Definitely not Afghanistan or Nigeria or United Kingdom, which are three very...
Okay, those are three places out of the hundreds of places that this person could live.
Yep, exactly. And some of course, you don't want to live in Afghanistan. It's a war-torn nation.
There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Weird. I wouldn't want to be in Europe, especially. The earning potential there isn't very high when compared to America. Debatable.
Okay. It's for the most part, it's one of those things where you make less money, but you spend less money.
Yes. And you also you get more out of like living in Europe. You get more out of like your taxes, for, health and
quality of life.
Care. Yep.
The quality of life is a whole lot better there on average. But yes, let's keep going.
We don't have the best government or healthcare system, but damn it, we're Americans, second to none. Which is just really funny.
Is that it? Is that the argument?
No, there's been more.
Okay, there's still more. Okay.
I know our leader isn't the best a nation could ask for, but he's our leader nonetheless. I hope he does a great job. Wishing ill will.
When was this made?
2 days ago.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Wishing ill will on your president to fuck up isn't a good idea. God bless America.
I mean, I'll salute to that. There's no good argument there. I think it's really funny. It's like, here's all the reasons why I should leave. Well, actually, it doesn't really have any argument outside of, or I guess there's an argument. There's just no points to be made. I do the rooting against your own leader is an interesting one because
I do see that. Yeah.
Because on one end, obviously you don't want them to do poorly, but I think if you know that they are doing poorly or are doing something against your ideals, you want them to do poorly just as a leader so that they don't get reelected. Or even potentially they get impeached.
Yep.
Probably won't happen, but yes, obviously you're rooting for good stuff to happen. But when you sit here and go, this person does not hold my ideals, I would rather them do poorly. Honestly, it's almost, I'd rather them do poorly in popularity, not in
politics. Yeah.
Politics, because they're going to do what they're going to do.
Honestly, I think at least obviously not the people supporting Trump, but the best thing you could hope for Trump is just that he sort of just does nothing over the next 4 years. Significant, and he just leaves. That's the best case scenario. Which already, that's fucked because of all the commandments he signed day one. But,
Yeah, but also
hope.
like not all of those have gone through, because a lot of those he's like, I'm gonna do this, and they're like, there's actually legal things that you have to do before we do that. And they've already shot down some of the things that he's been like, we're doing this. I think the funniest, and the only one I'll go into, because I don't want to talk about politics a whole lot, I think it's funny that he wants to change the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America.
Yeah, but
there's no point.
It's very funny.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, is there any what are the comments behind?
Yeah. So we'll read some of the
post?
comments out, which just I think it just shows the person is very ignorant of the world, basically.
Sure.
So someone comments, "That's cute. Bet that Kool-Aid tastes great. This place is not great or the best place in the world. Its job to hold everything on the world. Its job is to hold everything under its own standards, so it looks nice by comparison. Again, this place runs on people taking from the ones under them. This incoming president is already fumbling stuff so bad."
True.
Then the OP responds, "Okay, but it is the best country in the world. I'm so glad I was born here because I have so many opportunities and so much freedom."
Okay, so again, there's no evidence within the argument, and I disagree. Not disagree. There are opportunities. I would say this job market fucking sucks.
Yep.
And I know that because I'm attempting to get a job.
Also,
I have a job. But
I think the biggest lie that Americans have been sold is this idea of freedom and like the most free people in the world. It's so funny from the outside because, like, yes, there are countries where you're much less free, for sure.
That's true.
America's not the bottom of the barrel. Like, even compared to like,
it's not the top either.
Even compared to like a lot of like Eastern Europe, I feel like they're more free than a lot of Americans are. When it comes to like, even freedoms, when it comes to like, oh, if you have a medical issue, you're now $50,000 in debt. You're not free to live anymore. You're just fucked.
I think it's that freedom has changed, and it's like, yeah, you're free to do whatever you want.
Technically, yeah.
But there's a loss of financial freedom because so many things take all of your money.
Yep.
And now one might say, but higher taxes will do that. But if your taxes go up a little bit, but then you don't have to pay for healthcare, that's pretty sweet.
Yep. And also at the very like basic level, anyone in any country has unlimited freedom. You can do literally whatever you want. There are just consequences for the actions. Like, you can go ahead and kill Donald Trump and become president for a day. It's probably not going to end very well for you.
No, there's consequences to your actions. Exactly.
But I just find the arguments really funny because it's just like, it's basically just propaganda speech. There's no actual like substance there.
Well, I almost feel like the whole like freedom ideal is like 200 years old.
Yep.
Or it's like it's 200 years outdated.
It's like the whole nuclear
back
family
then it was
thing.
like, yeah. Well, because back when we became a country, we literally did become free because we left British rule.
Yep.
But now it's like, okay, well, there's no slaves, so there's freedom in that sense. There's
there are slaves to like obviously it's different, but you're a slave to like your job now, or like
I'm a slave to capitalism.
Or to capitalism, or your bills or whatever. So
I have no choice. I gotta pay them bills.
But we do get a little bit more substance in the further replies. So someone else replies, "Have you traveled anywhere at all? Have you compared salaries and benefits, mortality rates, or simple things like pregnancy? Compared cancer treatments, cures, survival rates, poverty levels, homelessness, drug use? Back up your claim. Make a list of the freedoms you have that the UK doesn't and how it's better." Fair question.
A great question. A
Reasonable.
lot of good points. A lot of examples.
Now, you might be shocked to hear this next part, because I was shocked considering the patriotism. You know what I mean?
Patriotism.
So the OP responds, "Yes, my boyfriend is Indian. I'm half Italian and Mexican."
Oh.
Yeah. So
But what does that really mean?
So,
and not to say that it's okay. Sorry,
we'll get into it. So I've seen Mexico and Italy. America clears both. And in regard to her boyfriend, he's told me how bad it is over there. The poverty, the weather. You have to compete against 1 billion people. The working class is treated like absolute shit. Which same in America.
Yeah.
Probably worse in India, but like the working class in any nation is not great, really. You're the working class. And the public transportation would make you claustrophobic. When I visited India, I was so glad we're in America. The traffic broke my mind and the noise was worse. I saw so many little kids begging on the streets, sleeping on the sidewalk, and not having food. I don't want to hear Americans complaining about this country ever again. Now, a lot of the points about India may be fair. You're also comparing a first world country to a third world country.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is like one country of comparison.
Yep.
Also, I mean, you're not going to see the same stuff, but like this person clearly doesn't live in a city, because you're going to see that in like New York. Or Chicago.
Yeah, no, there are
maybe not to the same degree, but like there's going to be people begging.
There's homelessness. I don't know exactly what the wealth equality distribution in India is like, but I wouldn't be shocked if America's just as bad at the high and low levels.
Yeah, or it's like getting there.
You're getting there for sure. Like obviously the working class in America have a higher standard of living than the working class in India, but like the lowest of the low in America are struggling very hard as well. The comment continues, and this is where I want you to keep in mind that America is not the best country. Comment.
Yes.
America has the highest GDP, highest disposable income, leading influence on pop culture, military. It's one of the best for education, and one of the
that's completely wrong.
And one of the most innovative, strong international alliances.
Okay, so like, yeah, we have the strongest military. I'll give her that, because that's true.
Whether that's a positive or negative thing, that's up for debate.
Whether that's a positive or negative thing. Pop culture, I'd say for the most part, yeah, that's pretty true. I don't actually know. I don't think I don't know if we have the highest GDP.
Per capita, you don't. And highest disposable income, there's no chance you do. Absolutely no way you have the highest disposable. Like countries like Monaco exist, or like Luxembourg. There's no chance America's the highest disposable.
In 2023, the United States had the highest gross household disposable income per capita.
Really? That's shocking to me.
Luxembourg followed very closely, and Switzerland.
Does that take into account all the billionaires, though? Is that median or mean?
Per capita.
Yeah, that probably takes into account all the fucking billionaires you have. Because America has the most billionaires by far.
Highest GDP though? Let me see. We're not in the top 4. Let's see. Okay, so Luxembourg, Singapore, Ireland, Norway, Qatar, UAE, Switzerland, United States. We're in 8th.
I'll be back. I'm getting a call.
Okay, good luck. Bye-bye.
Okay. Sorry, people of the listenings of the podcast had to pick up an Amazon delivery package. Where were we? The greatest country in the world.
Where were we? Greatest country in the world. Oh yes, I was on the internet and I was looking up GDP per capita, and the US is 8th.
Okay.
And Luxembourg like doubles us.
Yeah, no. So like there are other comments and other like funny responses of them getting like annoyed and pissed off and everything. Obviously this is just one individual. I'm not gonna go out here and hate on America any more than I need to. I've done that enough in my life already.
Me too.
I think for me, and this example could be any country. Like I don't care they're American. It's just easier to hate on Americans because like
it's really easy.
There's such a stereotype of like the dumb, ignorant American thinking they're the best in the world and freedom and all that shit. But like there are people in Australia that do it, people in England that do it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we're just the loudest. That's all we are. We're just fucking loud.
Yeah, it just comes into like a sense of ignorance. Like, sure, I'll happily concede if America does have the highest disposable income per household capita, whatever, whether that's median. Sure. I mean, like across like I don't think like the average person in America does.
No,
because like there's no way.
I also think like when you look at disposable income, that doesn't include the fact that some of that disposable income is going towards necessities.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to pay for it on your own rather than it being built into like your taxes.
Yeah, like in Sweden,
like healthcare.
In Sweden, they have much higher taxes, but they don't have to pay for schooling, healthcare. They get like maternity and paternity
public
leave.
Transportation, probably.
So like they have less disposable income, but they also have to spend less of that disposable income on necessities. Whereas Americans have to spend a lot of it on necessities, which is a big problem.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, we make more money, but we also have to spend more money.
Yeah. So it's an interesting example. I was just thinking when I was going down the elevator to pick up the package, I would still probably say in terms of the country with the most opportunity, I still would put America as the land of opportunity for like number one. In terms
There's
of like
a lot going on.
in terms of the most potential for growth, it's still number one. I think the average person that moves there will probably have a worse time than the average person that moves to like Germany or the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But if
especially right now.
but if you're trying to reach like the top of your field, get the most money possible, most fame, America is the place to be.
That's true.
Even for me, I was speaking to two YouTube friends yesterday, and we were talking about like, hey, GTA 6 is coming out soon. It could be a cool idea to like get a house together when the game comes out and just like grind when we're there, because being all together in the same like same mindset, the opportunity of like being in America, like for like, I don't know, sponsorships of flying out to events and doing like being near where GTA 5 is set or GTA 6 is set in Miami, like all that stuff. It's like, that's a very American thing. You don't really get that in England or in Australia. Like especially talking about YouTube, the YouTube culture in these places, it's a lot better than it used to be, but like it's still nothing compared to America. Like you look at the Sidemen, the biggest and most successful YouTube group probably ever. And then you look at like Dude Perfect and Mr. Beast, who have like 10, 50 times their subs.
Eons ahead.
Just because they're American. You look at the impact Kai Cenat has had on the world in like the 2 years he's been famous. Gyat, the Phantom Tax, Riz, that's all him. That's all their group. And they're just some random American streamers that blew up like a couple of years ago. Whereas the Sidemen have been like this massive empire in the UK for like over a decade. And like bar JJ, KSI being like very famous for doing like boxing and Prime with Logan Paul, like they don't really have much global influence at all, really.
No. I didn't know about them until you introduced them to me.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't even heard of them.
So it's definitely still like, if it wasn't for like a lot of the things like about political issues or like for me, it's not even about the politics. I'm a straight white man. I don't give a fuck that Donald Trump is changing the gender rule to only two genders. It sucks for those people.
It doesn't affect you. It sucks, and it's. But when you look at like realism, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect me. It sucks, and I'm not going to root for it, and I'll be like annoyed about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. It's also, you can only be so pissed off.
Yeah.
And if there's something that just doesn't change your life or doesn't affect you, yes, you should do things about, you could use your voice if you can, but like it doesn't affect me, so I can't live my day just being pissed off. I'll be pissed off in the moment when I learn about it, but like I can't do anything. It's also, people go, oh, we'll post things on Instagram. Everyone that fucking follows me has the same political ideology for the most part. And the people that don't will just look at it and go, oh, that's stupid. So what's the point?
Yeah. But like in terms of like, if I wanted to move to America, it's not that type of stuff that stopped me. It is the healthcare issues. I'm like, it generally worries me. If I go to America and I have like a bad accident or something and I have to fork out 20K, like that's ass. And I don't want to have to do that. Or like the crime in some certain areas, or like the fact that it's a very like car-centric nation and like the food options for like eating out, I know you can cook, but like are much less healthy. Like it's all those sorts of things.
That's true. I will say it's also a land of like, if you got money, you don't have a problem.
Yep.
Because like you talk about healthcare, the healthcare in the system is fucked. But if you have the money to spend on good healthcare, like you buy a really good package, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now you have to have the disposable income in order to just do that. And it could like you could, oh God, I don't know how much like really good healthcare would cost. Maybe $1,000, maybe less than that a month. But still, it's like, yeah, you could have that. You're still spending money just so that you don't have to spend a lot of money in the future.
Yeah. Whereas in the UK, Australia, it's just sort of a worry. You can buy private health insurance for like dental and stuff if you want like extra coverage. But if you're just like, you just don't want to be like terrified about going to the hospital for a checkup, no, you don't have to, which is great.
Yeah. I spent $500 on something that took like 2 seconds. And I didn't know I was going to spend that money until I got the bill. Because it's also incredibly difficult to figure out how much something will cost. Because they have like a cost, they have like a thing where you can put in your insurance and do a cost calculator, but it was impossible for me to find what I was trying to do.
Right.
And then I got billed and I was not, and it was only 500, so I could pay it, but it was like, I didn't know what I was paying until after it happened.
Yep, that's ass.
And yeah, like You can call. I learned this afterwards. You can call, or at least my insurance has like a hotline or something where you can call and basically be like, "Hi, I want to do this. How much will it cost?"
Yep.
But the fact that you have to call someone, probably wait on hold forever in order to do this, like, it shouldn't be that hard, especially because it's probably a guy on a phone that goes into like a database where he, it goes into a search engine that he types into and then uses, which is like, why can't I just have that search engine?
Yeah, whereas like in Australia, a lot of like doctors or dentists and physios will just tell you how much shit's going to cost upfront, which is great.
Yeah.
Also,
everything feels like you're being scammed.
Yeah, I don't know how much they do this in America, but like it baffles me how many times like you like order food or buy something and then there's like post tax on it. Like you see a t-shirt in a store that's $20, but you go to check out, it's now 24. Like what? Why is that a thing?
Oh, well, see, in the States, it'll tell you the price and you just, there's always tax afterwards. That was the thing moving to Europe. It was wild when it's like, it was a wild concept to me that you go to the rack and it says $20 and you spend $20.
Yeah. Like it's
like you're always sitting here, you're like, yeah, you're like, all right, it's $20. Okay. Well, taxes, I don't know, might be like 24, 25 or whatever the sales tax is going to be. You don't ever really keep a note of sales tax because you're like, oh, it'll just be a little more expensive than this.
No, it's just built in everywhere else, which is great.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, imagine actually paying the price that you see. Crazy.
The one price. It's same thing with like ticket prices, where it's like, oh, the ticket's 26. Oh, well, then there's the service fee. Oh, and then there's a transfer fee, and it's like, just tell me up front. Even if you're telling me all of the fees up front, just fucking tell me. I will say
the ticket websites even here are scummy as fuck. Like I just bought tickets to see Porter Robinson. And initially it was for general admission, it's like 95. By the time I was at checkout, it was like 115. It's like cool.
Oh my god.
It's okay, fine, man. Whatever.
I actually went to a box office like 2 months ago because there was 2 concerts coming up that was for the same box office, and I had a bunch of friends that are also going to them. So I texted them, I'm like, don't buy tickets. I'm going to buy all of them and you pay me back. And I saved over 9 tickets. I saved us $100.
Damn.
I spent $300 and it was going to be $400 because at the box office, they give you like a $2 ticket fee per ticket. Mm-hmm. And online, it's like $13. These tickets are all like $30.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
It's crazy.
I mean, the amount of companies that get away with like taking percentages or adding on fees without you knowing is kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I actually do think the US government is trying to do something about it. It might be that they're just saying, hey, you have to present them up front.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's insane. It's also, you sit here and you go, there's like 5 ticket companies. And if they all do the same thing, they all get away with it because if, let's say Ticketmaster's like, we're giving you this big charge. But then SeatGeek is like, I'm just not going to do that. Then everyone just goes SeatGeek. But I almost wonder if some of these companies get together and go, I have this idea.
They definitely do.
All have to do it. They definitely do.
It's like the supermarkets in Australia, Woolworths and Coles. I think I mentioned this already. They have a system where like they'll put things, they'll like change prices of products, whether it's shrinkflation or just inflation at the exact same time. And they'll also do sales for certain products on the exact same day as each other, or like they'll alternate days specifically, which for 2 different supermarket chains, you'd think they wouldn't have coordination, but they have a lot of coordination, surprisingly.
Yeah. Because if they both do something, they could both get away with it.
Yep. And they profit off of it. Like there are literally.
Whereas if one does it, the other one profits by not doing it and having more people come to them.
Yeah. Like they literally have like algorithms where it's like alternating weeks, these products are on sale or not. It's like if I want to buy like a chocolate bar and I see it's $3, I'm like, I know it's $150 next week, so I just have to wait to next week to buy it.
Yeah.
It's such a weird system.
That is a strange system.
Yeah, odd one.
Yeah.
Last thing we can talk about briefly before we go. Okay. Speaking about Americans, I finished watching Ted Lasso recently.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which, if you're not aware, it's a Apple TV original show about an American football coach who goes ahead and coaches English football in the Premier League fictional team, AFC Richmond. So I've heard so many great things about the show over the years, but just never got around to watching it because it was on Apple TV and I didn't have it.
Yeah, who has Apple TV?
So I found out Amazon Prime actually lets you like rent it. So I rented it.
Oh, cool.
And watched it all. I do think it got a little bit worse as the season goes on. Not too much, but I think season 1 was the best. And season 1 generally might be one of my favorite seasons of television ever.
It's so good.
It's incredibly well done.
For me, Ted Lasso is interesting. I do agree. I think first season is the best. It gets a little worse, but like I think the quality is still quite good.
Yeah.
But for me, Ted Lasso hits this perfect, like, oh God, just combination of a lot of things that really hit for me is like having lived international and like watching English soccer and like also like, or English football. And, you know, just like some English content. There's that kind of humor that I like and resonate with.
For sure.
And there's also the American humor, which I like Jason Sudeikis a lot anyways.
Same.
And I like his type of humor. It's this combination of two things that I like quite a bit in like humor wise that I wouldn't say are niche, but like I'm also just I like soccer a lot.
Yeah.
So that's also it's like this perfect combination of things that has come together. And it's so well written. A lot of the characters are so likable, except Nate.
Yep. But for me, like even though it's a show about soccer, the football's the least interesting part of it. It's like it's really a show that uses football just to show you these character relations as a metaphor for life and a lot of this stuff. And like watching, especially season 1, but overall, like the way Ted interacts with people and the different characters that they're like, the show made me want to be a better person, basically.
It's beautiful. It really is.
By the ending of season 3, I nearly cried twice. Like towards the end.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it hit me so hard.
That show tore me apart.
Like he is one of the
Ted is so much sadder than he should be.
Yeah, he is. But like he's one of the most well-written, like motivational, like speaker type characters I've ever seen in TV. Like the like maybe the speeches are a bit cheesy at times, like how like over the top they are with the music in the background and like how perfect it is.
But it's a TV show.
But it's a TV show. They're so well done. Like by the end of episodes, I'm sitting there like, wow, I should be a better person. I should like treat people this way. Like, I should think this way about myself. Like, if you're ever feeling down,
you want to like
watch
go
Ted
on a
Lasso,
run or
man.
something. Oh, it's so good. I mean, there are definitely moments where it's like it's kind of sad. There's one particular scene that I actually see pop up, and I actually, honestly, I occasionally look it up. It's this scene where I think it's first season, and Ted is talking to the old owner. I can't remember his name.
Even I can't remember.
I haven't watched Ted Lasso in a bit, so you're gonna have to remind me some names. But they're in the bar. He's with the current owner.
Playing darts.
Playing darts. Yep. Yeah, he's playing darts. Oh my God, that scene is so good because he's having this nice little casual conversation. He's playing darts. The guy's beating him. They've made like a bet that's like pretty substantial.
Yeah, so the bet was if the old owner, for some reason I can't remember his name either.
God,
some goddamn reason. I watched it like 3 days ago and I'm struggling. But yeah, if the old owner won the darts match, he would get to pick the lineup for the last 2 games of the season. But if Ted,
Rupert.
But if Ted won, Ted Lasso, then Rupert would have to stay away from the owner's box because his ex-wife was there and he wanted her to feel like safe. Whatever.
He just harasses her.
Yeah, he's an
in
awful
like
person.
a verbal sense.
Yeah, he's an awful person.
He's just a shitty guy.
Yeah,
and the scene is beautiful because like Rupert's beating him and everyone's like, oh my God, and he goes in this like just really good
monologue.
Talk about like this monologue. Thank you. About curiosity. He's like, you were curious. You would have asked me, Ted, you played darts. And then like he starts sinking like every single shot. And then it's also, he gets deep where he talks about his dad and how his dad died early. But he was like, from the age of 10 to 16, I was, playing darts with my dad in a bar every Sunday watching football. And I got good at it. And it's like, it's so beautiful.
And he says like,
it's so well written.
He always says like, everyone always underestimated me when I was a kid. And then he wins the game after being underestimated.
God, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's like, it's motivational. It's well written. It's pulling at the heartstrings.
Yep. And like in season 1, there's a lot of conflict between some of the players. And he just talks to them saying like, just like how was basic. It's like very basic, like stuff you think you would know, but you just forget like, how is this conflict helping you win the game? They're your teammate. Like, I can't explain it anywhere near as well as the way he does it in the show. But it's such like a motivational, like heartfelt piece of content that like even if you don't know a fucking thing about football whatsoever, because
You don't need
the whole
to
concept
at
is that Ted Lasso knows nothing about football when he becomes the manager. So even he's figuring out as you go. But it's just a beautiful show, and like like you keep saying, it made me want to be a better person. Like well, it made me want to have like that impact on people, or like have the relationships that he did, because like he's just such like a nice guy. He there's a big plot line initially where like Ted brings like these like cookies or biscuits to the boss, the owner of the company, every Monday morning, and because she's trying to, at the start she doesn't like him, so she's like having these biscuits, but she's trying to get her assistant to like figure out where they come from so she can stop getting Ted to bring them. But after like 5 episodes, Ted admits that he cooks them every morning for her,
which like
it's like so sweet.
It's so sweet, man.
It's so nice.
I'm about to cry, Dan.
Yeah, but
it's just so good. I should rewatch that.
Apparently, season 4's coming out, but I don't know where the fuck it's going.
Oh yeah, so I don't either. So what they did was they did 3 seasons. The team starts in the Premier League, gets relegated by the end of the first season, is in the championship the next season.
Don't spoil it.
Comes back up.
Don't spoil the ending, but they have a final season, and he leaves at the end.
Yeah, they have a final season. I actually don't really remember what happens.
Okay, fair enough.
They're back in the Premier League.
I still want to spoil the complete ending because it's pretty.
Yeah. They're back in the Premier League. But it shows the like he takes this team that's at a bad place. He doesn't he brings it forward emotionally, but like he's not a soccer coach. He's not a football coach.
Yep.
He's an NFL coach. He does bring them down in that way, but he brings them up in other ways. And then, he kind of brings them up over time and they get a lot better. And then after the third season, or at the end of the third season, he goes, I'm leaving. Like, I need to be with my family. Like,
because there's a big thing about
there's a lot of that stuff.
Him and his wife. The reason he went to the UK is because his wife needed space. So he gave her space. They end up getting divorced. Yeah. He has a son there that he misses. So he goes back and sees them at the end of third season. It almost looks like they're back together. It's not confirmed or denied.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're necessarily back together, but it's like they are both parents to this kid, whether or not they're in a relationship.
Exactly.
But then they were like, that's it, guys. We were always planning on doing 3 seasons. This is it. Yep. And then like, I think a year later, they're like, we're going to do a season 4.
Cheeky season 4.
No idea where it's going to go. Very curious to see where it goes. Very curious to see if it'll be good.
Yeah, because like at the end of season 3, they did like that typical old like 2000s movie ending where it shows all the characters like in the future, like not so far in the future, but like a few months in the future, doing stuff. And it shows like Ted being a soccer coach for his son's football team back in America.
Yeah,
I'm like, how the fuck are they going to do season 4 of this? I have no idea. I don't even know where they're going with it.
I don't know if they knew. I kind of wonder if it got so popular that they were like, we got to keep this going. Maybe Ted's not in it. No, they just keep on with Richmond. Confirmed. Oh, that's true.
It's also called Ted Lasso. It'd be a bit weird if he wasn't in it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because they set it up to be like Ted isn't the coach anymore, but like Beard and Roy Kent are. Yep. So like, yeah, I don't know. Very curious, but we'll see. I'm glad you liked it, Dan.
Yeah, no, it was one of the better TV shows I've watched recently, for sure.
Very good. Very good. With that, I think that is a good place to end it.
Yeah, we managed to get to nearly an hour and a half on having a no fucking plan, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, there was the post office rang for about 5 minutes.
True, there was that.
That's not bad. You're pretty speedy, though.
Yeah, I got down and up as quick as I could.
Yeah. Pretty good. All right. Well, folks, we will see you next week. And next week we will have a topic.
Possibly.
But I won't spoil it for you.
I mean, like a little spoiler. We're recording this on the 30th of January. There's rumors, speculations, maybe that a new GTA 6 trailer or Newswire thing will be coming out in the next 2 days. So,
potential.
If that is there and we haven't talked about it, it's because it's not out yet for us. But
it's because we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I've had a great time. You've had a subpar time. I can read your mind.
Yeah, I've had a terrible time.
I know you've hated this. I'm sorry.
I hate you. I really don't. I don't know why I agreed to do this. I really dislike you deeply. Oh, Dad, no, don't cry. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. I feel bad now, even though I shouldn't.
I actually have tears in my eyes. I actually managed to make myself cry there a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Wow,
thank you.
You should be an actor, Dan.
I should.
This is why you make the big bucks.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Bye.
Peace.